Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mushoku Tensei. Today we're on episode, what is it, 10? We're on episode 10. So, what happened last time, episode 9? Oh, great question. Let me real quick, boom. We're getting the comments on the screen. So this is comments for episode 8 and episode 9. Watched these both pretty recently. It says 1 day ago. So, we're on the speed run. Okay, we're on the speed run a little bit. But yeah, so let's just immediately, like last episode, we're on the demon continent now and everything's going crazy. Let me get my notes up now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, there's some good comments here that I wanted to scroll through. The big thing last episode is we met Ruijerd, who was pretty much the coolest guy I've ever met, who was a Speared, right? So, he was cool. We met Roxy's family, which was kind of out of absolutely nowhere. We met the Man God. Well, we think it's the Man God. I'm willing to believe it, but, you never know. And we also kind of got that clue on, like, the reincarnation. Like, what's the deal with that? Maybe the Dragon God had done that, because apparently that's in Dragon God's wheelhouse. But, like, why would you grab Rudy's soul and slam it into a new body? A great question. But yeah, let's, we're just gonna go top to bottom, 8 to 9, and then just go through this, and then we'll do a little bit of scroll through, then we're gonna jump into episode 10. Whew, let's take a breath. I am drinking I have a water bottle and a Dr. Pepper. Let's start with the water bottle. Take a sip. Okay, so, episode 8, this is episode first. It's funny, this is pretty much the entire run of the show, right? Rudy saying, thank God I didn't do anything worse. Literally, yeah, agreed. But agreed, this is true. Eris being tall is very funny as well. Especially because, like, I just love Eris. Eris is best girl, agreed. Okay, so yeah, one of the big themes here, this is what I was looking for. One of the big themes with this episode 8, the comments, is the Hilda talk, right? Because Hilda was kind of weird in that she kind of, like, it felt like she just 180 flipped out of nowhere. Like, I thought she was building up to be some sort of, like, important plot event of, like, oh, like, political struggles, she doesn't like the Paul branch, blah, 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 like, something like that. But really, it was just more so her, overcoming her previous trauma with her kids getting taken away. And so she was kind of taking those, like, issues out on Rudy to some degree by being so distant. But then when Rudy started, fake crying, it clicked into place for her. So, and I think this is probably true. I believe she truly felt sorry for him from the bottom of her heart. I could see that being the case, because she hasn't really done anything politically skeevy or evil, right? Or, like, anything like that. The only thing you could even, like, say is that she was trying to hook Rudy and Eris up. But there's a comment that gets to that in a minute that I think is pretty accurate, so we'll put a pin in that for a second. Yeah, so this is more Hilda stuff, so I agree with that. I feel pretty good about the Hilda stuff. I was pretty convinced when I was reading through these. And I talked about that, I think, a little bit last episode, kind of trying to give that another go through. Eris being advanced at 12 sounds really impressive. She's a giga woman. I love Eris. Especially with, like, I mean, isn't Paul literally advanced in, like, 3 different sword styles, right? And he's, like, super strong. She's advanced and she's 12. And Paul's an entire adventurer from a noble family, right? So, basically Eris diff, right? This, I thought, was a pretty good, I'll go through this piece by piece. I'll take a bite out of it at a time, right? Where a lot of this episode is just set up for Rudy having a Rudy moment, which, I mean, funny that you're calling it a Rudy moment. Agreed. Tries to tease Ghislaine. Ghislaine just completely, like, takes that on the chin and doesn't, like, immediately calls his bluff. Giga Ghislaine, a classic move. And then with Eris, he was like, that whole situation, he went in, buzzed on wine. The maid harem in his mind. She's in, like, special, like, she's in, like, a cute little, like, nightgown or whatever. So he's extra tempted. She's, like, allowing for some dirty stuff to happen because she's been, like, talked into it and also probably has some of those feelings that she's trying to figure out. Like, it really was just stacked against him in a lot of ways. Doesn't at all excuse his behavior. Like, let's be, we're gonna be honest. It just makes it more understandable. And, like, yeah, like, I get, it's important to be aware of all these things that, like, built up to it when we're judging it, right? Doesn't excuse it, though. Not even close. The L's come with the territory. Which is true. Thinking of her as a presence, a fun idea that I didn't even think of. Like, this thing of, like, he was calling her, like, the genre of hottie tsundere lolly as opposed to, like, recognizing her as a person, which is kind of that thing I've been talking about of, like, I'm worried of him, like, not like being able to like form proper relationships with women because of like all the hentai and porn that he's like got in his brain. So it's like that. It's kind of an example of that where instead like he's so used to those genres and those archetypes and such that he when he's getting all horny like he switches into like a different gear of seeing everybody like he had seen them previously when he watched a ton of hentai, right? Like he had seen relationships or how he had seen intimacy when he watched hentai. So it kind of like, jumps in and then she doesn't become a person, become objectify, and then bad. So yeah, but then of course she clutched it out and stomped on him. So that's the Eris classic, honestly. That's the Eris classic. Swevent. Did I say Swevent? This is episode 8. I don't even know. Baka Shiraika Baka Shiraisu. Agreed. Kill the random child. Agreed. This one or two. There's another comment here, right there. Where the first time he lunged at her, he was imagining that. In the moment, wasn't clear to me at all. I did look back and checked, and yeah, it was definitely in his imagination. I see it now. Because it was kind of weird. It was like shot for shot. That was one thing I noticed, that like the first time he lunged on her and the second time he lunged on her, it's like the same thing occurring, which is kind of crazy because so it's basically, he thinks about it and he's like, oh dang, like she would ask me to stop, and then like he snaps back to reality, and then like 20 seconds later, he's literally doing the thing that he was trying to spin himself out of. That's just crazy to me. Just a reminder, he's been here for 10 years. Recency bias with the 10 years. Agreed. He's more so morphing into his role as a 10-year-old child. I mean, yes, but also a lot of the people in his life, I feel like, don't really treat him as a 10-year-old child as much. Both because, like how we would expect a 10-year-old child to be treated, both because they treat children like more adult-like, right? Like they're seen as a proper adult at 15, so he's kind of seen more in that regard. He's literally tutoring Ghislaine in magic, and Ghislaine's straight up a sword king, right? So the man's like, he's treated not like a complete child. Like he is treated somewhat, and just his personality, right? Like with like Paul had even said at that one point, like that he had like never seen Rudy cry, or I don't remember the line exactly, but just the point of, I feel like he's always been treated a little differently than like a normal childhood track would be treated. But it is still important to remember that he's in a 10-year-old body, so there's got to be some like morphing there. Like that makes sense. I'm down with that. And also like he's not being treated as an adult for sure. Like it's like a gradient, right? He's not being treated, I would say, as like a pure 10-year-old, but he's also not getting treated as like a pure adult. Like he's in this weird middle ground, which just describes his entire character, doesn't it? In this weird middle ground, like tattoo it to his forehead. Fun Monogatari reference. Doesn't negate previous experiences, but more and more in line with how he expected to act. Agreed. Includes immaturity in interacting with others, but you can also see him seeing boundaries on himself as well, learning the need to set them. True. It's just, yeah, it just sucks. He's like being set up so much for failure. Like he's literally getting told, and he got told by Philip, I think in this same episode 8, like with all the 3 girls that walked up after the dance. Maybe it was episode 7. Because this was, yeah, I think maybe it was at the end of episode 7. But he was like, oh yeah, you can take one of the girls to bed, just don't get them pregnant, right? So it's just, he's being set up for failure, which sucks. But at least 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Okay, that step back was pretty bad. It was a pretty painful step back. Got me feeling mad uncomfortable. Yeah, it was bad. But 2 steps forward, I believe. Believers in? Believers in? Question mark? I don't know. Eris growth. True. Took the initiative to go back to Rudy directly after being angry. True. She's apologizing. True. And then in episode 9, right? Like we also seeing a lot of that growth with her like being polite and kind of getting like positive building off of that. And among other things, she's definitely grown a lot, and I love her, and she's the best. Finessing from the family. I agree with this, that there's like Eris is going through that period of like exploring intimacy, exploring like sexuality, exploring all these things. I mean, it's puberty age, right? And she's even a little bit ahead of Rudy, because like girls hit puberty earlier than boys, I'm pretty sure, right? Like overall. And then she's also 2 years older, right? So she's ahead of the curve in that regard. But at the same time, like, agreed right here, this doesn't mean Rudy should take advantage of this. It's literally just she's in a vulnerable state, right? Which is really, Dangerous. Very dangerous. Got distracted by Hilda 2. Agreed. Hilda thing. Agreed. Ghislaine status. I typed Ghislaine status in my notes. I don't know what I wanted to type about Ghislaine. I completely forgot, but Ghislaine status. Okay, this is important, guys. We got to remember Ghislaine status. Okay. So true. So incredibly true. Interesting times ahead. We're on the Demon Continent. Wasn't ready for that. This was interesting to me. That apparently in the volume of the light novel, there's an Eris report card that covers who she likes, and that it is said that she loves Rudius. That's just odd to me. That's kind of like I guess it's cool, but it's like a little status update, I guess, on like her emotional state. I don't know. That's just kind of random. But yeah, I mean she does love's a big word. She doesn't like. She definitely is crushing on the guy a lot, and like really feels like, she like what's the word? Feels probably indebted to him for helping her out so much and all that kind of stuff. Love is just a big word to be thrown around for a 12-year-old. That's just how it is, right? It was not Philip but Hilda who sent Eris there. It's crazy because literally a few seconds before that scene, Philip's saying, "I can tie her up and throw her in your bed," right? Like, and I don't think he was joking. So, I mean, even so, I'm still, she said something like, "Go and give yourself to him. You will not find better than him." Hilda's afraid that Eris will not be able to find a good or a good husband due to her personality, and so she's trying to make the Eris and Rudy connection happen to make Eris happy. Like, yeah, road to hell is paved with good intentions type behavior, like, I don't know, just, everything's so gray. Everything's so gray, Rat, man. Why's it all gotta be gray, Rat? And Rudy has got his eyes on, like, Sylphie and Roxy and Eris. Dude, do not make, like, can we just pick someone else? I guess Roxy would be the best out of the group because at least she's, like, 40 for, like, randomly. So I'm fine with Roxy, I guess, because she's straight up 40 years old. And, like, he's mentally about that age, too. Actually, Roxy Clutch. Why does she look like a middle schooler? That's just the show being the show. Like, okay, do your thing. Whatever. I think it's weird, but I'll let it slide. Honestly, a bit confused why you're so offended by Ruby's pubic hair in the beginning. I mean, I can start my videos with my pubic, like, you know what I mean? It's just gross. It's just, like, random. Like, it's showing that he's developing or whatever. I guess, but it's just, like, you really gotta, I don't know. I was largely kind of playing it up because of just, it's ridiculous. It's just kind of absurd, but not a big deal. One of the most sus moments in the story, maybe the sussiest. Good use of sus. This is a lot of stuff about age, consensual type things. Let me find some of the stuff. So, like, it's a really difficult topic since our modern morals and ethics that are developed for the kids' protection and for their own good are in constant fight with the nature, puberty, hormones, and all this fun stuff that's starting to hate kids from 13 years old or even earlier. Yeah, I mean, kind of, like, but I don't know. Maybe it's just colored by my own experiences. I was not going crazy horny mode at 13. Like it took I don't know. It's different for everyone, but I don't know. Why did I even bring that up? But point being, like, in constant fight, I think that's just, I think this is like I can accept the point, where there's like that tension between the rules put in and the reality of what a lot of people are feeling at that age. Like a lot of what a lot of kids are feeling at that age, with all the hormones going crazy, puberty going crazy, all that type of stuff. They're wanting to explore some of those relationships, but at the same time, they're told by like a lot of their society a lot of the time not to explore those relationships or to do it very carefully, right? Like, oh, you can only date at like 14, 15, 16, whatever, right? In constant fight, I feel like it's just, I don't know. It just read weird to me, but maybe it's fine. In the world of Mushoku, where kids are growing up earlier and considered adults at 15, I think the conditions that Eris set are fine. It's fine for Eris to set them. I don't think it's fine for Rudy to follow them. I think Rudy should really just, he should wait till they're, full adult, 18. And I'm saying, I'm using 18 arbitrarily because that's, the law where I'm at is you're an adult at 18. But, even 18 is almost a little, because it's just weird because of the mental age type, Of course, there's always the element of Rudy's real mental age, and this will always keep complicating things. Like Eris setting it at 15 was a great Eris move, because in her society, that's what she's been told is acceptable, and by all means, that is a good moral move on her part. And she wasn't even saying, when I'm 15, she was saying, when you're 15. So, she aced that. That was a great Eris move. if Rudy were to accept that, that would be kind of problematic because she's 17 and he's like 30, 40, whatever, right? I expect it's still going to be difficult. Oh, what's in my throat? I expect it's still going to be difficult for you to see Rudy interact with young female characters since you'll keep seeing him as more of a 40-year-old dude rather than a kid, which is fair enough, of course. The truth is somewhere in the middle because I really believe that he wants to be as far from the persona he was in the possible previous life as possible, but those habits keep popping up. The truth is somewhere in the middle is a weird, like, I don't know about that. It's just like what my new thing that I've been thinking about is his mental self is literally his 40-year-old otaku self. Right? And in one way, that's a big reflection of his insecurities, right? How he's hung up on his past, like, his trauma, all that kind of stuff that he's, like, getting past. But at the same time, it's, like, it's literally his mental self is his 40-year-old self. Like, that almost feels like a report of his mental space is 40, right? And he's in the younger body, so, like, you can, like, say that hormones are kind of influencing him. Like, I think that's fair. But to say that his mental age is, like, he was stunted. He's a stunted 40-year-old. So, like, in terms of, like, emotional or mental or, like, social intelligence or emotional intelligence, saying that he's, like, 20 or 15 or, like, 15, 16, 17, that would be more fair. But then even then, he's had 10 years of growing up. So, like, he doesn't just start from zero, right? It's not like he walks into this new life as a stunted, let's say he's stunted, so he's got the emotional intelligence of like a 16-year-old, right? Arbitrarily throwing that out. Guess what? He's had 10 years of living to keep figuring this stuff out, right? Roxy was a big help, whatever. So he's not still stunted at 16. He's at least had to have made some progress in that time, right? He's not like, and it doesn't mean that he's like, oh, he hasn't hit 16 yet, so it doesn't count. Like, no, like, he's had 10 years to keep working on this in an environment that doesn't have him as stunted. However, it's also an environment where he's not getting to explore a lot of the same things because he's like 4 years old, right? Or 3 or whatever. But it is giving him a lot of time to figure that stuff out. And especially because we've heard him say, literally, it's in this. I forgot that she was still a child, right? I was filled with self-loathing. I completely misread the atmosphere. I went way too fast. Halfway through, I forgot she was still a child. He's aware that he should not be doing things with children, right? It's something in his mind. And so he went into this new life with that in his head and has had the years to, like, think about it and figure it out. So, like he's a stunted 40-year-old like, and in terms of, like, his intelligence, like, his mental intelligence or emotional intelligence or social intelligence, like, late teens is maybe where I'd put him. But, like, even then, right, like, I don't have a ton of sympathy for someone that's stunted. Like, I know you had a bad childhood. It is what I'm sorry. It is what it is. Like, it's understanding but not excusing type, The truth is somewhere in the middle. Yeah, it's just like where in the middle, and like the truth, like, I don't know. It is an important thing to remember and to keep thinking about, because man, he thinks of himself as a 40-year-old dude in a lot of ways. He has been mentally alive as a 40-year-old dude. Like, in terms of lived experience, right? All that kind of stuff. So it's just crazy. And he can't be doing sus things. You just gotta stop, man. You gotta stop. And it's gonna keep being difficult. And it's not gonna change. I'm not gonna excuse his behavior. I'm not gonna just let it slide so that I can, like, not have to stress with it. Because it's a stress, man. Okay. Subjective critique of the whole series. The author, this comment says, I think the author didn't put enough emphasis on Rudy's deviant part of his struggles. I'm recording, right? I am, bet. I mean, he reflects on his mistakes in life, that he gave up too fast on many things, shut himself out, but the deviant part of his issues were taken a bit too light, in my opinion. Yeah, agreed. Like, he hasn't, like, talked at all about what he filled his mind with while he was shut himself off. And maybe in the light novel we see more of that, but yeah, I think that would be a really cool thing to bring up, especially because so much of the reincarnated show we've seen is him, like, doing sus things with people that he shouldn't do sus things with, right? Sylphie, Eris, Roxy when he thought Roxy was like a teenager, right? Or a young a middle schooler, right? Those were all not good for him to do and were largely based off of what, like, his coping mechanisms and what he did in his previous life and, like, those habits he formed. But he hasn't really addressed, I guess, he has loathing for his decision making. I was filled with self-loathing. I misread it. I forgot she was still a child. But, like, he hasn't really verbally, at least in the anime, he hasn't really, like, gone into that as much as I think they could. Especially with, like, him wasting his life. Like, is like he solved that right away. He did not waste his. He came out of the gate like a few years in. He started reading books, learning magic, doing sword stuff. Broke through his trauma with Roxy. Like he was making moves. He's not been wasting his life, and like that is something that's colored a lot of his actions. You know, in like his regret he uses to like that gave him motivation to help Sylphie with the bullying. That gave him inspiration to help freaking Rugierd the Speared with the whole regret with that whole backstory stuff. So like it is something that's influencing his actions, but in terms of like something he's struggling with, I don't think he's struggling with that very much anymore. I think he's pretty much pogged that out of his mind. But the deviancy is what he's struggling with, and the degeneracy is what he's struggling with. So for him to like I would appreciate some more of that. I think it would be cool. Not a huge dig for me. I just think that's a fair critique. I'm also not done with the show, so maybe it's coming. So we're just cooking. It's still addressed, don't get me wrong, just maybe not enough for my taste. Yeah, like I would appreciate more, especially with how much it feels like it's focused. Also, maybe because the author's view on perverted stuff is a bit different from mine. Like I definitely see that me and you, Pink, look a bit differently on all the sexual and sometimes perverted stuff. I'm way more lenient, accepting I think sometimes maybe too much, and you're more strict on this stuff to the point sometimes where I think you're a bit prudish. Don't take this as an insult though, because I think it's difference in upbringing. Also, I also often see Americans as prudish anyway. I do be American, not gonna lie. No, I mean it may be fair. It's also like specifically because it's in this like I'm in like the reaction format. Like there almost feels like more of a moral responsibility for me to like be strict on bad behavior because I don't want to like put out a message to the people that watch the video that like certain things are okay. I do feel a little bit of a moral like an extra responsibility to like voice socially correct opinions just because it's like and that doesn't mean I'm like lying or not using my real opinions. It's just I'm a little extra focused on like being extra critical just so that because of the subject matter being so serious in this format. I don't know. Little point just on that. Author's probably more lenient than the commenter. I myself don't see anything wrong in being a bit of a perv as long as you're not hurting anyone and usually not shimmying any kinks as long to the reasonable extent, of course. In MT, it's a bit different because all the lolicon stuff is definitely not okay in my book, but Rudy worshipping Roxy's panties, for example, is just a gag for me, nothing more. Like, it would be just a gag, except next to all of the rest of Rudy's behavior, it's a showing of, like, deeper degeneracy, right? Because if he just worshipped her panties, right, and, like, was kind of pervy towards, like, consenting adults, then it's, like, that's one thing. But it's next to all his behavior on top of his past life of like the very degenerate state he was in that makes that kind of thing not feel like a gag and makes it feel like an actual issue, or at least you know what I mean. A bit creepy, but nobody's hurt by that. I mean, except it's like it's damaging for Rudy, right? Like for him to be worshipping somebody else's panties that he stole from them is like I don't think that's a good thing for him to do when forming a relationship or a mental image of Roxy, like, so, like, it doesn't hurt Roxy, because Roxy doesn't know, but, like, let's say Roxy finds out, right, like, Lillian spills the beans or whatever, like, that would be really bad, and she would feel probably hurt about that, like, being perved on that much, it would probably bother her. I mean, she's kind of used to it, but that's not a good thing. Yeah, like, a bit of a perv is one thing. Worshipping panties is like past the line for me because I think it's very actively, or not very actively, but I think it is getting in the way of forming proper like relationships with people because then you're turning them into like a sexual object too much. I don't know, it's a tough gradient, and you can like it's something that is like the easiest to judge like with specific things. So like Roxy pleasuring herself while listening to Paul and Zenith. I don't think that's wrong. It's a little weird, but like she's an adult and they're adults and it's a thin house, like, and she's getting into it. Like, don't be peeking in the door. That's definitely an invasion of privacy. But like if you're just listening to it through the wall, I mean, they know how loud they're being, right? Like they're loud and proud, So that's I would let that slide. But actually looking in the door and perving, that's an invasion of privacy to me. But yeah. And then some cringe with like the Eris stuff. Some of Rudy's thoughts that were in the light novels were cut off, caused some cringe, etc. But those are thoughts. If we could all hear each other's thoughts, I bet we would hear much, much worse from even the most decent of people. It's true. Intrusive thoughts do be intrusive thoughting. This is just crazy to me. In the light novel, the morning after Eris's 10th birthday party, Rudy woke up to the results of a wet dream, heralding his start of puberty. Rudy begged the maid to keep it secret so that Eris didn't hear about it. You know what? What a detail. Bogged. Shout out Missing Legs. I'm glad you appreciate the comment stuff. Cause it's fun. It's fun it gives fuel for the talking fires. Yes, yes. And it's spoiler safe because I got the mod team, bro. Shout out the mod team. And everybody that's even, like, not part of the mods that just, like, let people know, like, let the mods know what to delete. Appreciate it. That usually happens in the Discord. Shout out the Discord. Shout out the Discord. Okay. During this time, Sophie was studying healing magic with Zenith. That's pogged. Norn was wearing Rudy's hand-me-downs. That's funny. Sophie about to be the team healer in our little party. Because so we'll have Eris as swordsman, Sophie as healer, Rudy as mage, Roxy not in the party. Do we even need Roxy? Rudy's got that covered. And she's a straight adult. And so if we're doing if we're doing the group of kids as like a party of 3 is pretty pog. Party of 4 with like a 30-year age gap with Roxy and the rest of them. Well, Rudy's kind of weird, but I don't know. We're definitely forming a strong party though. Ain't no way bro jumped straight to Zenith is dead. Zenith is dead. Everybody looks worried. Zenith is dead. It is what it is. It is what it is. Dude, the atmosphere just got so scary out of nowhere. I really thought they were about to hit us with a crazy twist. But no, it was not. It was just him crying, or fake crying rather, was kind of a big thing. If Rudy wasn't a reincarnated person, doing the deed at 15 instead of 18 wouldn't really matter. As adults, it feels icky to think about, but a lot of people have their first experience while in high school. It's like we just forget what being a teenager was like. So this point of, if Rudy wasn't a reincarnated person, doing the deed at 15 instead of 18 wouldn't really matter. Okay, so if he wasn't reincarnated and he was just straight up born into this world, then I would hold him morally responsible, very largely based on the environment he was raised in. In that case, 15 would be the approved of age to be doing that kind of stuff, and it really wouldn't matter because at that point I have no leg to stand on to judge him with our modern world and like what our moral standards are, because he would have never experienced those standards. So I have much of a less of a way to judge him. So yes, but also like, yeah, like 2 15-year-olds in a world where 15-year-olds are like allowed to be doing this and like that's socially acceptable. 2 15-year-olds going at it, like, do your thing. As long as there's no weird power dynamics going on, like, I'm fine with it. Like a 30-year-old and a 15-year-old, I'm still gonna judge that because that's unhealthy power dynamics and definitely not like respectful of the other person for the 30-year-old to the 15-year-old. Like, even like something as simple as like that, like, But yeah, if he wasn't a reincarnated person, it would be like such a different situation that's almost not even worth like. Not to like demean the comment because it is fun to think about, but it's so wildly different than the Rudy we have, because I'm judging Rudy because of his reincarnation and because of his past and because of his mental age being higher and because of his should be understanding of morals and all that sort of thing. But yeah, you should read Mushoku Tensei light novel. Yeah, I might read some chapters. I'd be down. I fixed the audio on Pixel Drain. That was just straight up an editing error on my part. I screwed up the editing for one of I think it was this video. I fixed it in post as much as I could. It was, but we went back and I fixed that. Pogged. I appreciate people that let me know when I make editing mistakes, because guess what? I edit at like 7 a.m. or like 6 a.m. on like no sleep. So it is what it is. Arguably, with the exception of Roxy, Kishirisu is the best demon character we get in the show. What could you possibly have against her? Her design and her personality and everything about her that we've seen. I am being extreme for the point of it's just fun to make fun of like a character we get 2 seconds of screen time on. But at the same time, like, you're gonna walk into the show like with the first shot being your chest as like you look like a 7-year-old and you're in this little like leather bikini. Like, could we not? Like, that's just like, what is the point of that? That's just kind of nasty for no reason. Like, why is she dressed like that? And then she's just being all weird and like, it's just not a good first impression. Most of what is great about her is side content. She's a great example of what makes a true demon in this world. Overanalyze her and you see great world building for demon kind. If we get more screen time with her, then we can start cooking. Eris progress, rank system, check. I did read through this. Was there anything I wanted to pop about? This right here? Oh. Now this, I said verbatim. I said this verbatim a couple episodes ago, where I think it was the start of the Eris arc, or maybe it was the Sophie. I don't remember when I said it, but I said every time I see Rudy like interacting with a kid, I have the mental superimposition of the otaku Earth Rudy doing the same thing. And I said that had made me uncomfortable, right? he himself has that same thought, right? Where he sees the 34-year-old jobless pervert, in the same way. I just think that's cool. The same wavelength. I don't know how I feel about being on Rudy's wavelength like this, but it is what it is. The interesting thing to me is, like, because you could spin that as him just being super insecure about, like, intimacy and all that stuff, and he's remembering how gross he was, so he's, like, doubting his second chance and, like, all that. But at the same time, like, it shows that he is aware that in some form he is a 34-year-old plus person, right? Because he thinks about that. He thinks about his past life and his past experiences, which no doubt is a power dynamic over any of these children. Children, underlined, italicized, bold. But yeah. Forgot she was still a child. This shows that he knows that doing things with children is bad, right? Like, he admits it to himself here, so, like, don't come at me with, like, 13-year-old, or, like, 13 age of consent. Because, like, well, yeah, like he's aware that she's a child. Like, that's a problem in his mind, and he judges himself for ignoring that issue, right? I was a piece of crap, had no right to judge Paul, no right to lecture, blah, blah, blah. This is just him doom spiraling in his head. Guaranteed prize at the end, right here. Lolita good, touching bad. No, Lolita bad and touching bad. None of that. No. Then this is crazy to me. This is just gross to me. Look at this. An image of Sophie's pale, angelic face and sweet smile suddenly popped into the back of my head. The next morning, I woke up to crusty underwear. You know, like, that's not good. That's bad. Like, and that's not, he didn't do anything bad, because you can't control a wet dream, of course. But, that's not a good indicator for his and Sophie's future if he's still, night busting it to an image of her in his head. That's just crazy to me, man. Oh, well, I would just have to start again tomorrow. I had a word with the maid who came to collect our laundry and asked her to keep quiet about Eris so she didn't find out. She giggled with a look of mirth in her eyes. It was a little embarrassing. You think the maid's gonna whisper to Eris, "Ooh, guess who busted in his pants last night?" If she does that, then fire the maid. Hilda changed 180 because Rudy's action was so good. Hilda stuff, we were talking about that a little bit. I feel locked in on that. Age of consent in Japan is 16, and currently they're trying to make it legal for only... What? And currently they're trying to make it legal for only trans to groom children. Okay, I don't know what this is on. I'm not touching the 10-foot pole because I don't know the context. I'm not touching that. That sounds problematic. Nope, goodbye. Continuing. I don't know if it's because I'm Asian and Rudy behavior makes sense or people are overreacting with Rudy behavior. I don't think anyone's overreacting with Rudy behavior. I think Rudy behavior is problematic, and I think he agrees it's problematic, and so me and him both agree it's problematic. Yeah. I don't think, like, it makes sense, like, logically, I understand how he got there, but it's also bad, and it's also something that we should slap him for and stomp on him a little bit and tell him, no, don't do that. I'm held fast on that. Roxy taught Rudy that 1,000 years ago, the great demon emperor, quote, or parentheses, the demon Lolly started the first human demon war. However, she's a child now due to reincarnation. You're telling me that's Mushoku Tensei? What's her name? Kirashirika Mikirishirutsu? She got reincarnated? Is that a thing? I mean, Rudy got reincarnated. Reincarnation magic exists. I guess that would make some sense. If she's the great demon emperor, why is she acting like a 2-year-old? I'm sick of it. I recommend changing the vid title to include the episode title. I've thought about that. It's probably good for the algorithm. I don't know. Maybe I'll start doing that. Feel special. That's funny. What's worse, they're cousins? What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean by this. If you're saying that them being cousins is fine, it's like makes it like isn't a big deal, then I would disagree. And if you're saying that them being cousins is a problem, then I would agree. Because I would say them being cousins is not good, especially with Rudy should have the understanding that incest is usually not a good thing, right? Especially because it's like, and one large part of what makes incest bad, crazy that I'm having to say this, is that it's a lot of it is like power dynamic, right? Like if you're, I don't know, you're like the older brother or older sister, right? Either way, and the younger brother or sister or cousin or whatever is 3 years younger than you, and you grow up together, then the older person always is going to be the older person with like a power over them that came from childhood, right? So if they then move into sexual territory, like a lot of the times the worry is that the older person or the person with power in the relationship, which is the older person, for sure. It has too much, like, is having power and taking advantage of someone younger, right? Especially someone younger that they have like an authority over as the older cousin, as the older brother, as the older whatever. So that's like one issue with incest. Doesn't match up with Mushoku Tensei because of course Rudy's younger, but he's also in like a power position as the tutor, and so that kind of makes it weird, especially because she's 12, so she doesn't know how to navigate any of this. And then also just normal like chromosomes stuff. Like he should understand that incest is just not good as well. This is just funny. That's why this anime is the worst. 15 replies. I would love to open this, but I don't want to get spoiled. And the Sword God. I want to so bad, bro. I want to so bad. And I like every comment, by the way. Okay, I don't pick favorites. I like the ones that I know are safe to read. That's my system. Okay. Oh, sip of water, please, for the love of everything. Halfway. We made it halfway. Okay. Top of the episode. Top of episode 9. I'm going to go really quick on this one, okay? Because I want to watch the episode, and it's getting late. But, we still got stuff to yap about. Rudy has been good at water magic because Roxy was his teacher. That could be it. Because I was kind of hypothesizing maybe there was some like deeper connection, but it could really just be as simple as. Specifically he started magic with water, so it almost feels like something that came before, but who knows. Age of consent thing, there's some age of consent stuff. In Japan at the time of the show being made and before Ruby got isekai, the age of consent was 13. Okay. Wasn't it just 13 like certain areas? Was it 13 where he lived? Do we know do we know what region he was at? And then we could cross-check the time of that region, what the law was? Because I'm pretty sure it's different in different places or whatever, right? But, okay, we'll continue. And then, yeah, I literally was looking the Japanese stuff up the other day, and there's like, I think a law literally got passed like a week ago that changed some like age of consent to 16 in most of the areas or something crazy. So that's funny because I was looking it up for the show's sake. But either way, laws are just there to put into words and universal rules the things that just quote feel wrong end quote when considering individual cases. It's more useful to just look at the case for what it is. In that case, there was clearly a power dynamic at play. I mean, it's more than just feel wrong. That I think like there is more to it. For sure. I don't think you disagree, but just to be clear, it's not just like, oh, this gives me ew, gross feeling. Let's make it a law, right? There's a lot. There's stuff that goes into it. It depends on the law, but continuing. Power dynamic at play. Agreed. Eris being forced into it by her family in a lot of way. She's unable to consent. Rudy being mentally way older. Her being I think she was 12 because Rudy was 10, but still. And he had like groped her previously when she was younger, so like that's still, we can still bring up the 10 thing. And he's the teacher, and someone who got out of trouble, and someone who saved her life, plus L plus ratio. Like, yeah, I mean, they're on super unequal footing. And then with the age thing, it makes it into like almost like a grooming type thing. Agreed. And this line specifically, I really agree with. It's easy to make a kid believe they want something because of their lack of experience and all the biological brain changes they haven't gone through yet. True and real. True and very real. Age of consent is very societal, and it's never just biological factors like we had hoped to believe. Yes. Yes. I would agree with this. It's never just biological factors, true. Or else it would be the same everywhere, because, for instance, it's a reflection of how long we're willing to able to protect our children. It's not exactly that at 12 you're unable to make the big decisions. It's that we don't want you to, because having to make them and deal with the consequences will stunt your growth and reflect on your later development negatively. The bigger the age of consent, the longer you can go developing before being tested on life on how much you've developed in the MT world. The situation is different because they're being prepared as adult early ages, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but it's just a different environment, and we can say that it's because it's like there's more danger, more responsibility, like they don't understand children as well. That's why the age of consent's lower. And I think that makes sense, and I understand why the age of consent is lower in the MT world. But when it comes to Rudy and judging Rudy, which is where most of this is like where it's all pretty much coming down to the case of Rudy, I'm just going to judge him on the modern world, and he needs to recognize the power differences, right? And how he can't really, like, do any relation, like, he can't do anything sus with these children for many reasons, one of which, like, even if for some reason he thought that 13 was an acceptable age of consent, which I would disagree with, and even if he had a good reason to think that, the power dynamics still make it wrong, right? And on top of 13, just, like, that's a stupid law. It is what it is, okay? And law's not a perfect attributor to morality. Whatever, continue. But yeah, I mean, fair stuff in there, overall. Yeah, I don't know, the age of consent thing, I feel like I've seen the Japan 13 figure so often. I do clarify the change to 16 being pointed out. I don't know. I'll go read a book or something. Paul and Zenith were surprised about her hair color. Oh yeah, that's just some foreshadowing stuff. Good. Efforts to predict the plot. We love predictions. This is a bunch of good exposition. This was crazy to me. The reason why Aisha being a maid, we already found on episode 4. I do think I remember this. When Lilia said if her child grew up well, so she wants to make her child serve Rudius so she can push her own daughter to be a good maid. So, like, that's just kind of odd. I mean, like, I get it. Like, Rudius did kind of clutch save you and save your kid. So, in, like, that, But, like, tracking your daughter into a maid role, into a serve Rudius role is kind of insane. Right? I'm just not a huge fan of trying to build children, like, into roles that hard. Like, let them figure themselves out, but at the same time, you're guiding them. But don't just guide them straight into being a maid for Rudius. That's just kind of crazy. Actually, I think Zenith and Paul think that Aisha shouldn't do that, but I think Lilia wants it to be that way. And I mean, Lilia's the mom, so she has a little bit of extra authority, but yeah. Map thing. I won't look at a map yet, but maybe I could. I don't know. I won't worry about it right this second. The six-sided world, human world, dragon, beast, demon, ocean, and sky. Those are sick, by the way. So we jumped to demon. And so, man, what? So six-sided, it's a cube, I assume. So what are we? Is it round? Because then if not, then how do we get past the edge, right? It's not like I have a boat and it goes do. Like how would that work? Is it teleportation magic, or is there some sort of like? I assume there's some sort of weird magic thing that lets you get between the different sides if it's like a cube. Or what if it's a rectangle? Who knows? Sword God is a different... But Sword God is a rank or title for the skill of sword style. Yeah, I mean, there isn't a sword world. The world that we lived in is the human world. Agreed. I did look at this. I'm not going to write any of them down off the top. It's just kind of fun. And it's just the different worlds, and it's kind of the different gods, and then Void being like maybe like something special. But yeah, cool. This is crazy to me. I love a first time post, by the way. That's always one of my favorite things. I appreciate you, not a cool Nick. I appreciate you. This was about Roxy. The anime never directly states it. It's implied that some of them stop aging differently. The important thing here is, but they all still reach their development milestones just like humans. Babies for a few years, puberty early 10s, adult around 15. Okay, development, I wouldn't say adult at 15. They're saying adult at 15 with their societal thing. Adult, like the brain finishes developing in like mid-20s, right? Mid to late 20s is like when it like fully locks in. And I'm pretty comfortable with like the 18 plus or like, right around 20 with a little bit of spill into like 18 to, whatever, as like the adulthood age. They're saying 15 as their adulthood due to their society, but just to be clear, blah, blah, blah. Maybe add or remove a few years depending on the specific culture. Yeah, culture. Like culture. That's the big word right there. But it's all pretty straightforward. That's just good. That's really good to know. Because that doesn't mean that like, oh, like Roxy's 45, but guess what? She only hits adulthood in her society at 75, right? And so it's like, oh, but she's older than you, but you're still a pedophile, right? Like, it gets away from all that stuff, which is just so kind of annoying to deal with. It always makes me mad to deal with that kind of stuff. Like, why am I having to like carry the 7 and do dog years just to figure out what's morally acceptable? Ruiger truly resident go to the verse. It's so true. It's true. This is true. This is also true. But about Roxy's body, they pretty much stopped growing up at middle school age. Okay, but why would you write it like this? That's the thing. You're literally just writing this so that you can perv, like, over a middle schooler, but it's like, you make it free. It's like, okay, whatever, do your thing, I don't care. It's just, like, but why? Whatever. It's just anime, man. It's okay. We're locked in. Spirits, this is cool. Spirit's spear is actually their tail, which hardens to fall off as they grow up. So the sons, because yeah, I totally like this made sense with the way he told the story. It was not only his son's spear, but also his son's tail. So it's like a physical part of his son. That's super cool. Maybe I'll read this. I won't read this now, but that would I'll try to I'll try to remember that this number's here, so maybe I can go back and read the full story at some point. You're a wizard, Ruby Jerd. This was pogged. Rudy crying is not a tech like with child actress Kana. Shout out my girl Kana. He's just using water magic, the little rat. That's so funny. Didn't even think about it, but it totally makes sense. And then the wood for the campfire looks like a hand because it belonged to a tree monster, so they had to hunt for the firewood. Cool detail. I appreciate the elaboration. Fast upload. We're trying to go fast so we can be here for season 2, roughly. We're going to be a little behind, but we'll make it. We'll make it. What if Sylphie just has green hair? That would be funny. It could be the case. New haircut, pogged. What age is Rudy mentally, though? I say 40, stunted down to, like, late teens, blah, blah, blah. But, like, honestly, it's so gray that I don't even know. Definitely I treat him as an adult, though, in most cases, right? Younger they look, the older they are. Anime 101. This is the Roxy stuff. When she came to tutor Rudy, she was 37, way older than Paul and Zenith. That's actually hilarious. Booba is not important, smile. Everyone has their tastes, okay? I can appreciate lack of Booba. I can also appreciate non-lack of Booba. Everything plot material in season 1, they're maybe not going to use till later. Patience, season 1's introduction, true. I mean, big isekais, that's just kind of how it goes. I totally get it. I don't know. I totally get this. I mean, it's just, that's kind of how the show is, right? It's not like one of those, like, one arc shows that, like, you're expecting it to, like, wrap up in a bow at the end of the season. You know, it's definitely still going, right? And it's, like, how long is the light novel? Like, how many seasons of content is out there? Like, probably a ton, right? Think he will change when he gets matured, but in this season we see Rudy actually grow up. He's trying to get everything he hasn't had in his past life or lost in his past. True. Reasoning why he's manipulative. Treating his new life like a game. I don't know. I don't think he's really treating his new life like a game. You know? Because he uses a lot of game references, but like treating like a game is like sounds like a psychopathic behavior where he's not seeing anyone as people. But the most like depersonalizing that he does to people is like treating Eris as a sexual object, right? Like that kind of thing, making people into sexual objects. But I don't think that's him treating his new game like a life, or his new life like a game, as much as it's horny monkey brain and he's unable to control it because he's got problems that need to be fixed. But yeah. Okay. Scroll through the episode. Okay. Episode 9. Oh yeah, this was just his mental. This is just crazy to me, right? His mental self, right, is his otaku self, you know? Which makes me think that he is aware of his, like, mental self, mental age, otaku. I think that's pretty fair. I mean, it's not one-to-one because it is his own image, right, that we're dealing with here. So how much can we trust him to, like, display a perfect representation of his actual mental image? Not perfectly, right? Like, how much do you understand yourself, you know? But yeah. Where their line is somewhere in here. I had it when I pulled it up, but I lost it. So it's just crazy. Wood monster speared. Honestly, I'm feeling pretty good on this. Poor Eris. Oh, I haven't muted. I think it's very endearing for me to hear her cry like a normal kid would cry. Like it makes me want to take care of her even more, you know? Cuz it's just like that's just like you know, poor kid, you know? And I don't want her to be crying, but it's very endearing to me. It's very endearing to me. What's not endearing to me is watching Rudy go to town on her. That's not endearing. Rudy, why do you look like this? Rudy, why are you so unhappy with this soup? What, you don't like the soup? He hates the soup. That is so rude. Why did we run into Roxy villages specifically? Is it literally just RNG good luck? It almost feels like he was put here. Well, okay, so Demon God. Why would Demon God put him here? The sealed Demon God. I don't know. Did the demon god resurrect him and bring him to the reincarnate him because the demon god is trapped behind the seal, and so they have to kind of work from outside the world and bring people in. So the demon god brought in somebody that they thought would be a degenerate mess to kind of ruin the world from the damage the human world from the inside, so he could worm his way in. I don't know, maybe, but that doesn't. We haven't really seen that happen, So that's so assumption based. His backstory was so pogged. Kind of wanted to jump into the episode. All the Roxy people look like middle schoolers. That's just, okay. Sure, do your thing, show. A chance encounter. Yeah, so like I said, though, we're going to probably have to... We're going to have Rui Jerd protect us as we get to dangerous... We're going to have to travel through dangerous locations, monsters, maybe other people being evil that we have to fight off. Until we can make it to a city that can get us to the other side of the continent. Is it going to be some sort of port city where you can somehow sail to the other side? Or is it going to be some sort of teleportation thing with magic? I could see that being for sure. I don't know. But then once we hit that point, we're going to have to deal with, can we get Rui Jerd through the city, through the teleportation circle to the human land? Should we even do that? Maybe Selphie as a route other than that, because Rudy does want to help Rui Jerd. But yeah, we'll see. I say we jump into episode 10. I also only have episode 10 downloaded, so I gotta download more episodes. Dang. Okay. Let's get this episode going. Deep breaths, deep breaths. Okay. We gotta lock in. Take a sip from the water. A little bit left. Not gonna lie, the yapping's been going crazy. So much. Okay. Episode 10. Lock in. Rui Jerd, protect us. Eris, please don't get hurt. Rudy, also please don't get hurt. I don't want you to get hurt, Rudy. I am rooting for you. It's just very tentative rooting. Okay, episode 10. Let's get going. In a 3, a 2, a 1. Bam! Bro. They're just letting her solo. She's a straight adventurer now. That's my girl right there, man. She's going to be such a great adventurer when she grows up. She thrives here. No, she loves it. She's always wanted to be an adventurer. It's true. It's just a maggot, Rudy. It's okay. No, me too, brother. Fair enough. No, I'll give you that one. Ew, a scorpion eating a fly. Or a beetle. A city? Ooh. Damn, big mountain. What do we call these? The sand shards? Rikarisu. Ooh, that's cool. A gate? Rikarisu. Got it. Are they gonna let him through as a speared? Oh my goodness, I forgot to do a different version with the right. Oh, I'm using Pop Player. Do I want to fix it? It's fine. I'm so dumb. I keep doing Pop Player on accident. I mean, I can read it fine. I'm sorry if you can't read it very well. It is what it is. Yeah, they're beast-like. Dude, she's holding Rudy by his stem. Dead end. Giga Chad. Ooh, are we gonna color him? Change the dye of his hair? Clutch blue food dye. Oh, he's a Migar. He's got blue hair. Good thing they don't got a driver's licenses, man. Clutch. No IDs. Dang, what a sick city. That's so cool. Look at those giant glyphs in the walls. Oh, the lyrics are different. The slumbering star awakens. Oh, okay, the obsidian castle. They got cool little blue like gems inlaid in the hieroglyphs there. Oh, little lizard girl or something. Yeah, this is a sick city. This is a super cool environment. Oh, that yeah, look at that, all the different like market wares. Oh, a cat hoodie. Aw. Bro, she's having such a good time. Protect her with your entire life. Wait, your money works here? Dang, centralized currency OP. Wait, look at the obsidian tower. It's on a glooper. It's on a mushroom. Okay, let me focus. This is why math is important. Bro, I love Eris. Look at her. Are you not used to being able to walk around a city? Is Eris gonna start arm wrestling people? Get him, get him. Yeah, guys. Yeah, Rudy. Why was this your plan? When you take a look at my bro. His hair's blue. Wait, you're gonna introduce him like this? But why? They don't care. Yeah, they do not care. Yeah, like, are you gonna wash it and now it's gonna be like like, why though? Why in the first place? We're about to find out. Booba, 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 booba. Wait, multiple booba. It's three booba. Dang. F rank. Rudy, calm yourself. Yay, she got her, look, she got her adventuring card. Let's take a quest. Let's take a quest. But why? Just for money? I guess we need money. Dang. Can we just test into a higher rank? That would be pogged. What is up with this horse guy? Get out of here. I don't want your advice. No, we're not gonna go find a cat. With his third eye. Yeah? You're a frog. He's about to make you ribbit. There it is. That's right. That's right. Toad ass. Get out of here. Oh, that horse is next on the list. Is she walking backwards? Were you pickpocketing or something? What happened? Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, it's like dispelling the Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm seeing it now. I did notice he had that on. Oh, wow, look at this. The Crystal Caverns. Or is this like the stars? Why do the stars look like that? That's so cool. Ruijerd, are you good? Um, there it is. Oh, what's up, squad? Eris, make friends. Eris, make friends. Oh, your cloak broke. Hey, 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 calm yourself. This is just some random girl. Rudy, hey, hey, yeah, get in there. Stop her. Thank you, Rudy. Oh, right. Okay. No, we're chilling. We don't need y'all. Dead end. I love this demon girl. She's so fun. That's how it is. Yeah, what's your party name? Tukarubu Tufts. Oh, he got 4 arms. Okay, okay. She really can not be out here stomping some random people, though. Eris, you gotta lock that in. Okay. Wow, really? That sucks. MMOs. Think about the MMOs. Man God, you're back? Hey, get Buzz off. I was not expecting him to just drop into the dream. I thought it was a more one-of-a-time event. This guy. Don't wiggle your little CGI booty at me. What are your motivations? Why is it so scary? I mean, it's gonna work, but like, why does he know? And like, why is he helping? Are you good? Are you getting dreams too, Eris? Hey, hey. It's pretty. It's very pretty. Aw. Of course, yeah, of course she says Ghislaine and grandfather. That's like, yeah, the two people she's most attached to other than Rudy. Not including Rudy. I don't know where they would fall ranked, but that's sweet. That's sweet. Ruby Jerd knows what's up, though. He's out there. He's blocking the door. That was good on him. Can you smell it? Oh, the third eye. My fault. We're looking for a cat. Like a cat scuffle? Or what kind of... Okay. Is the cat getting eaten? Bro, my nose is so itchy. This music, though. Oh, wow. They're caged. Okay. Is it big cat? Oh, it's a big cat. Everything's bigger. Demon continent is Texas. Oh, spooky insect guy. Two of them, two of them. Three of them. Oh, cute one in the back. Stopping me. Bro. They got that stealth check out of nowhere. That's great. Bonk! Oh, mud magic. Good stuff. That's earth magic. Earth magic. Woo! Glumph. Dang, you see how he captured that one girl? Okay. Oh, Richard. Please don't torture this guy. Like, don't be too crazy. Ah! Are you good? Okay. Is Eris okay? Oh. Oh. Did Eris just kill him? Eris, you cannot be... Or is that... Who was that? Which one of you? Oh, for punching Rudy. Okay. Makes sense, Richard. It's just like the decapitation from earlier. Dang. I mean, even Eris is just kind of chilling, you know? Yeah, like, she's just seeing this as an inconvenience. Hey, be nice to him. Oh, wow. That was a good line. That was a really good line. Dude, his arms are still bound to the wall. That's crazy. They're scamming. They're scamming the system. Do y'all got a justice system? Like a legal system? Can we report him to the adventurer's office? Like, are we gonna like use them to take higher level ones? That's crazy. Yeah, so we can take higher level contracts. Whoa, your anger is having you squeeze Rudy. You don't hurt Rudy. Say it, Airs. Oh, he's uh dang. Super smart, by the way, to cover up his staff. You wouldn't want people to know. And same with the spear, you wouldn't want people to know the value. The value of what they got. And we're gonna do each other's jobs. Yeah. That insect girl. I like her. This horse. I hate the horse. Dang. What, are you gonna neigh about it? This guy's gonna make me lose it. It's over? The value of a life in the first job. Dang! Okay, the Ruijerd falling out is interesting. He's so uncompromising. Eris had a really good point about, but you've done bad things in the past. That was like a really good way to maybe get him thinking. And like you can't, like I can't blame him. Like, can you teach an old dog new tricks? I mean, he's been hunting. Like he's been on his like uncompromising lone warrior arc for like what 400 years. So I really don't blame the guy for feeling the way, for being so like stuck in that. And it's also kind of crazy Rudy's whole like mentality of like, oh, I forgot, of like pacifism, right? Like not wanting to kill people. Is like very different from the world as a whole. Like Eris is very comfortable with people dying in front of her, as we've seen. Whereas, Homeboy's not. Yeah. I love you, Eris. I love you, Eris. Hi, Roxy. What's up, Roxy? This tier list is about to be wild at the end of the season. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Holy. You know we not looking at that episode name. Okay, so a lot of this was just like fun adventuring stuff, which I actually like. It's fun to watch Eris just get to be a little adventurer and do her thing. I promised next episode I'm actually gonna do it. I'm gonna do it correctly so they don't merge together. I can read it totally fine. So like, it's not getting in the way of my experience. It's just for y'all because I know like some of y'all probably it's hard to read. So my fault. I'm taking the L again, but next time we'll get it correct. I just didn't want to pause, man. I wanted to watch the episode, man. Is that so wrong? Okay, but yeah. So, dude, I loved the city, like the random like look at this little like kobold kid, bro. There's a like pink kobold girl. I only know it's a girl because it's a dress, but you know like and a little dog, you know, kobold boy because kobolds sometimes look like dog people because don't ask me about that. Like, and this girl, what was her name? Kurt, bro. I kind of want to write Kurt's name down. Kurt was so cute. Kurt, demon girl adventurer. Yeah. Or maybe Kurt's a dude. Kurt kind of maybe is a dude. Still cute. I still like your design. No, you're probably a dude. I thought you were a girl so hard when I saw you for the first time. My fault. Okay. Adventurers, him doing this, I guess this was him trying to look cool. Well, okay. No, so the goal was we want to spread our name as positive adventurers under the name of Dead End, right? Which is Homeboy's Ruijerd's like nickname, right? So this is a way for us to spread the spirit's good name. And so coming in like this and then saying, "Oh, we have a spirit right here." I guess maybe they were trying to prove to Ruijerd that like the blue hair works. Though like that was obviously working. Or maybe trying to like make themselves look like surely he was aware how dumb he looked, right? And he was doing it on purpose. He's just trolling. Because immediately after he takes it off, right? Like I don't think he was like thinking like, or maybe he was just living out his MMO fantasy of like, oh look at me, cool adventurer, and this is our party, like, bam, you know. Is this the thumbnail, dude? She's dabbing. Eris dab? That's crazy to me. And yeah, he's not even trying to like swing his weight around because he's not even unclothing his staff, right? So he really isn't trying to you know, prove himself like right away and like make a big first impression. I think he's just trying to prove it to Ruijerd here, and then also plant the seeds of Dead End by making himself like to be a known name, to then capitalize on good faith later, and also maybe some partially trolling as well. Eris, you really can't just be curb stomping people, by the way. This was extreme. This was bad. Bad behavior from Eris. The first punch, totally acceptable because A, she doesn't speak Demon God, so like what? A bunch of kids start yapping at her that she doesn't know. She gets uncomfortable. And then they like, did he touch her? Yeah, literally getting touched. Like a bunch of people come up to you speaking language you don't know. You look away because you're like, I don't know what's going on. And then they touch you and break your clothes. Well, okay, she kind of broke her own clothes by moving too much, but like still, like, don't touch me. I think one good push or punch is totally acceptable. I mean, it's definitely escalating, which isn't good, but like, okay, I can accept that. You're really strong. But this was too much, and we know she's a problem with this. But like, dude, you stomped on this kid like 6 times. Like, I don't care. You know, like, come on, Eris. Eris stocks are so high most of the time, so don't make the market, you know, start to speculate like this, okay? I'm not looking for the Great Eris Depression. This poor stubborn, like, girl. She's such a mess. But progress. We are making progress with her. Why is Man God giving these tips? It's crazy because he's giving them, like, it's almost like he's playing the game, right? Or like he's like the quest marker or whatever. Because like he's literally giving a tip that, like, so, but like, So he knew these adventurers were C rank, which means he knew specifically, or D rank that could become C rank. So, and he knew specifically that Rudy could take advantage of that, and he was ready, like he was planning for Rudy to take advantage of that, you know. But it's like, so he was planning on, or maybe somehow aware of Rudy taking the actions he did after following that, right? But like he was able to at least plan on that. Maybe it was even partly trying to like cause the Ruijerd issues. Because I could see this guy being a menace. That's because he was saying entertainment earlier, right? Like I could see Man God being a menace that's just using Rudy for fun. Like he's like taking another one of the gods' choice because somebody put Rudy's soul into Rudy, right? Reincarnated Rudy. So like he's toying around with somebody else's avatar. Like I could see that being a thing, little trickster god type kind of thing. This like him, like okay. The thing with Ruijerd is he's seeing everything in super black and white, which is not good, and he's also not willing to accept like a necessary evil kind of thing. Because like Rudy's saying like a pretty fair thing of if you kill people it'll make the reputation even worse. Rudy is kind of grasping at straws because he's just trying to make any point, you know. But this is also true. Like people aren't going to notice, or people aren't going to like have the full context of, oh, this guy was actually bad and the spirit was helping out. They're gonna think, oh, the spirit killed someone. That's on brand for spirit. That's a bad thing. The spirit is bad, right? That's just how the news can spread. So Rudy is spitting facts, but all and like and Ruijerd's thinking in too black and white, but also they did kick Rudy in the face, and are like scamming people and such. Like they're not doing like they're doing criminal activity that's like cringe, and like I don't know how robust the law system is in the demon continent, but probably not much. So to just be like acts like this, like see, it feels pretty unsetting. So I'm not gonna hold it to Ruijerd that much. Especially with like Eris, like she only started joining at all once like Eris had once Rudy had made his point here, because you know she's on team Rudy, and she comes in and clutches it. She says, "Okay," like, and she started punching him. I really like the part where she said, "I kick people," you know. Why do we wait? Where was that? I kick people too. Like I'm a piece of garbage. Well, not quite that extreme, right? But like I have my issues, and you're willing to accept me, and so like be more accepting of other people with their issues. Nice. No, I like it. And she spin facts. Dude, I love how genuine she was out of nowhere too. He's doing all this for me and you. He's amazing, you know. It's a little bit like I don't want you to be like become too codependent, obsessive about Rudy, because that's a huge risk, especially in this environment. Because, I mean, Sylphie was at risk for doing that for Rudy, and that's what Paul stepped in to help with. Low-key, freaking Lilia the maid is doing that, and now Eris might be doing that. And, like, Roxy's not, like, obsessive or anything, right? Like, she's stable and she's an adult, but, like, he's had a big impact on her. So he's, like, he's getting, I don't know, a lot of attention from the other characters, which can be worrying. Because I don't trust him fully with some of these characters. And also the children thing, like, I understand why you killed them, and I kick people too. I kicked a child earlier today, bro. I kicked Kurt around earlier today, and he didn't kill me. And then what did he say? Freaking bad people are bad people. Villains are villains. But evil is evil. Okay, but what is evil? Evil? Make a better definition, bro. Figure out your morality other than just killing people that do, like, you know. That was really good. And you can see that shook him. So hopefully there's more to think about there with him. Because, yeah, where we're at now seems to be that he's going to, like, maybe be watching them from a distance. Right? Oh, was that a teardrop? Did he fake that tear? I never walk away from my resolutions. I will see you home no matter what. So, like, yeah, even if they have a falling out, Ruijerd's still going to protect them. Whose tear is this? Based on the perspective, it low-key might be Ruijerd's or, like, Eris. Because it can't be Rudy, because this is Rudy's back, right? But it could be... And Ruijerd's not really enough over Rudy for it to drop there. Hyperanalyze the tear location, bro. Or it could be just dripping water. No, Ruijerd's still with him. Ruijerd's still with him after. Does he, like, stick? No, okay, so he's probably going to just keep sticking around. Not, like, shadowing. This horse is gonna get something horrible happen to him, by the way. This horse is so marked for death. Or marked for pain. Because I hate the horse. And if they can get me to hate the horse, then that means they're gonna do bad things to the horse because they know I'm gonna like it. The value of a life in the first job. The value of a life is the big thing there. And like Eris is... Oh, wait. Look at this third eye. This is the third eye behind the text right here. Is that speared third eye? This looks like a third eye. Very interesting. Very interesting. Man, am I literally already out of things to say? I mean, I'm... This part. I don't understand Man God very well. And I'm worried Eris can't sleep. Oh, wait. Okay, this is random. What's up with Are we in a giant rock area? Because look, the stars in the sky are like holes that were... Oh, it's intentional holes in the glyphs. So the glyphs, those little blue dots were holes into the sky? So it's like, okay, so the moon like comes through the mountain range where they've chiseled holes to do a spectral light show. Is that it? That's so cool. Wow, I actually love that. And I love Eris being happy. Look at her go. Just stop kicking people and stomping on people. Wait, give me the shot of like the establishing shot of the city. No, there is this guy. Okay, so I think it was just from the angle where the light was coming in from the side and like bursting in, as opposed from coming from straight above, because we can see above the mountain ridge there. That's so cool though. Yeah, this is such a cool city. I'm such a hoe for good world building, and Rudy's such a hole for the triboob. Not gonna lie, not into the triboob. Doesn't really do it for me. Value of a life. Well, I think that's something that we can I'm gonna do a bit of simmering on, because it's just like the environment, and like I understand everyone's positions, but it's just like I don't know, like Rui Jerd's not gonna be super willing to change on that. Like he's gonna be stubborn because he's been alive for 400 years or 500 years or something, right? So like, if Rui Jerd's just Rui Jerding it up. Eris is just gonna do whatever Rudy says pretty much, because Eris is on Team Rudy all the way. And Rudy is, of course, trying to hold to more modern, like, pacifism beliefs. Or not even pacifism, but just, like, more modern, like, moral beliefs with killing. Wish he would do that with some other things as well, but that's not his his vice isn't bloodlust or wrath, it's other stuff. But yeah. I guess that's all I got to say for this episode. Episode 10 of Mushoku Tensei Joseph Organization. On to the next episode 11, I'm going to try to watch that probably when I wake up. But we will see. But yeah, on to the next episode 11. Should be exciting. Of course, if you like the video, Subscribe if you're new, blah, blah, blah. Comment down below if you have anything to say, or join the Discord, talk to me or other Mushoku Tensei fans there. But until the next episode, make sure you hit the notification bell as well, so you little bing, 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 dong, 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 anything like that for new uploads, new streams, anything like that. I'm hopefully going to remember to fix the text next time, because that's the second time in a row I effed it up. But that's okay. We live and we learn, just like Rudy. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, except I never step back. I only step forward, so it's 3 steps forward. You know how it is. On to the next episode 11. I'll be seeing you then. Peace.